Good morning, everybody. My name is Judy Dean. I'm the Deputy Director at the TRAC, the Terrorism, Transnational Crime and Corruption Center. And I want to welcome you to this panel, which is hosted by GTTAC, the Global Terrorist Trends and Analysis Center. As most of you know, GTTAC is a partnership led by DSG Development Services Group. TRAC and DSG have been working together for 7 years now to build a database of terrorist incidents from around the world called GRID. And it's funded by the Department of State and used as a basis for the statistical annex for their annual reports on terrorist trends. It's very important, of course, that this work be as accurate as possible. And so we have developed a lecture series where we ask academic experts and practitioners to share their knowledge with us. Today, we're going to be hearing about Yemen, a country that's become very important to our database, and it's very difficult to find reliable information on. So we are very fortunate to have Mahmoud Shehrah as our speaker. We had an informal discussion with him a few weeks ago, and we were so impressed that we asked him to come and speak to this larger group. Mahmoud Shehrah is a former Yemeni diplomat specializing in political analysis, conflict resolution, and economic development. He has wide-ranging experience working in the Yemeni government and international NGOs. Most recently, he was a political and information counselor at the Yemeni embassy in Jordan, and prior to this, he was protocol manager for the Prime Minister of Yemen, serving 3 prime ministers before and after the 2014 outbreak of conflict. He has served a key role as diplomat in UN-led negotiations on Yemen, acting as liaison to the UN Office of the Special Envoy, the Secretary General to Yemen. He was part of the Yemeni government team that negotiated the reopening of roads in Taiz Governorate in 2022, and he worked closely with the government of Jordan to successfully reopen Sana'a Airport in 2022. He's going to speak for about 20 to 25 minutes and then answer questions. Please use the Q&A function to ask your questions, and then we'll put them together after his talk. We will not be monitoring the chat, so please remember to use the Q&A function. Mahmoud, it is all yours.
Thank you, Judith. Thank you for this kind of invitation to speak at this esteemed GTTAC webinar. It's my honor to be part of this discussion and also to share my thoughts with a distinguished audience. I will start. We will start from recent updates because of about the dynamics on the Red Sea and on Yemen and the Red Sea attacks. Like after 1 year, approximately a year after the U.S. Administration and the UK launched a Prosperity Guardian operation in the Red Sea to protect commercial ships from Houthis attacks. The Houthis have not stopped targeting these ships, and instead they surprised everyone by attacking the U.S. military vessels just days ago. That gives us indicators that Houthis are still saying we are here and remain threat, even as the other members of the axis of resistance like Hezbollah in Lebanon and Al-Hashd al-Shabi in Iraq have reduced their activities, and they suffered significant strikes that crippled their military capacity in the recent months, along with the assassination of its key leaders like Hassan Nasrallah. There is now like a growing discussion among the axis of resistance about handing over a leadership to Abdul Malik al-Houthi. This indicates that the main front line for the axis of resistance may now shift from southern of Lebanon to the Red Sea in Yemen. now it gives us with a different dynamics with the nature of Houthis. If we compare them with the others from axis of resistance like Hezbollah, and the nature of Houthis is it's newly established. That's make them harder to penetrate. It's not if you compare them like Hezbollah, because, for example, the Israeli are focusing for more than 3 decades how to penetrate Hezbollah, but the Houthis are new established groups, and Houthis are most of their leaders, the leaderships are young, adventurous, immature, more aggressive, and the other thing, point that makes them more dangerous, because they are controlling the geographical and the demographic situation of Yemen, that Houthis are controlling more than 60% of the Yemeni population, about 25 million Yemenis. 70% of this population are youth. And unfortunately, the population in Yemen have 70% of the Yemenis have no access to the internet. That make the Yemenis isolated from the world, from the other world. The idea is when we reach about the U.S. approach and the international community approach, how to deal and containing the conflict on the on Red Sea. It's not being effective anymore by designating Houthis as a terrorist group, or just throwing bombs and targeting Houthis military targets. That's like and this kind of approach need to redesign again how the American and the UK government to find and figure out a new kind of approach that could push and deter these attacks and terrorist attacks on the Red Sea. This kind of this an introduction, and I will after that, if you have something to add, because I will speak about the dynamics and the cross-border conflict and the dynamics between Houthis and the other axis of resistance on the region, like Houthis and relationship with Iran, Houthis relationship with Hezbollah, Houthis with the Somalians, the Shabab al-Mu'min al-Somalians, and Houthis with the other Iraqi militias like Al-Hashd al-Sha'bi and the others who are supported from the Iranian regime. Also, I will start to talk about the relationship and the dynamics between Houthis and Iran. Actually, we should start like to have a question about what Houthis really want from Iran, and what does Iran want from Houthis. Iran want from Houthis that they are using Houthis for their regional adventures. They are Houthis are Iran are using Houthis for utilizing them to twisting words arm. It's why? Because the nature of Houthis is an offensive. Their mission, the main mission on the axis of resistance, that offensive, not defensive, like Hezbollah or other axis of resistance, they consider to be a defensive for Iranian regime. But Houthis are offensive by their nature of attacks. That makes Iran feel comfortable with their coordination with Houthis, because Houthis are posing a lower cost from the Iranian perspective and greater threat on the region. What Houthis want from Iran? Houthis their aim to create an state. It's the same model of Iran in Southern Arabia, and or something like North Korea in the south of Arabia. And Houthis also need from Iran to import expertise of their social control until they can figure out their own model, because of how the way they manage their military fighters, intelligence, and targeting and fighting, and also to import technology and weapons, missiles, plastic missiles, drones from Faylaq al-Quds, which is al-Quds forces, that it comes from smuggling from Bandar Abbas port. Bandar Abbas port is in Iran. This is the main. This port has been the main point of smuggling operations for mainly because it has a military harbor used for Al-Quds force. It's it's managed by Al-Quds forces officers, and using smuggling weapons to Yemen. And with the other with the cooperation with the Somalian Shabab Mu'min, who are being in the middle, delivering weapons and military parts by small boats to Hodeidah port and the areas on that Houthis controlled on the coastal line on Red Sea. If we talk about the relationship between Hezbollah, Houthis, and Hezbollah, here the relationship is different. Hassan Nasrallah is considering Abdul Malik al-Houthi is considering Hassan Nasrallah is like a father, and like a moral or guide or an inspirational leader. And he always received directions and directives from Hezbollah. Hezbollah is who are the first who adapt Houthis on Yemen to the Iranian, and they trained them, and and transfer Houthis from just a bucket of fighters fighting in the mountains to the organized non-state actors, militias, fighting, and with the intelligence, with more organized militia. So after the Hassan Nasrallah get killed, of course it's Houthis. It will be a suffer. It will be a strike for them, but that will be that could be might shift the leadership, and Abdul Malik al-Houthi will take the legacy and take the rule, and they will hand him the leadership of leading the axis of resistance. About in Iraq and the Al-Hashd al-Sha'bi in Iraq and Houthis, the relationship with the Iraqi is kind of economic support, because Iraq is a financial it's an empire, financial resources, and supporting Houthis by free oil. And also Iraq becomes like an operation room for the axis of resistance, and also other things, that it is a telecommunication station military telecommunication station between Houthis and Hezbollah are based in Iraq. So the relationship between Houthis and Iraq is logistics and economic and financial support. And also Houthis are running and managing some military camps with different nationalities, Africans, Yemenis, and Iraqis, and fighters are being trained by Houthis in Iraq. Also about Somal, which is a significant relationship with Houthis, because Iran managed to links Houthis and Somalians and the Shabab al-Mu'min al-Somali, and this kind of significant relationship between them when this kind of relationship is very important for their functioning. How do they manage to coordinate with the other axis of resistance? By smuggling weapons and technology, because Somalians are the Somali smugglers. They move by small boats and pass by the Red Sea with the small boats and deliver military parts and technology and drones to the Houthis. This is the rule number one. Number two is also there is a trade, ammunition trade between Houthis, from Houthis to the Horn of Africa black market. There is a regular workshops in the Houthis controlled area. They are producing like ammunition products and selling and do traffic and use the Shabab al-Mu'min, the Somalian smugglers, to the east of Africa to sell them on the east of Africa black market. And number three is a human trafficking and recruiting fighters. Also, they smuggle. It's based off. It's due to the dire economic and humanitarian situation on the east of Africa and Horn of Africa, and poverty situation. Africans try to smuggle to Yemen, and Houthis hosting them, recruit them, and start to recruit them as a fighters from on their military camps and just push them onto the front lines. So here I give you like an image about the dynamics of the relationship between Houthis and the other members of the axis of resistance. And of course, domestically, Houthis have a relationship with Al-Qaeda and EQAP in Yemen and supporting them. And that's according to the panel of experts report that mentioned that panel of experts report from Security Council that recently published, and they mentioned that Houthis are providing drones and to EQAP in Yemen, and also releasing prisoners in their controlled area. On return, they do like a terrorist attack against the government of Yemen. Against the government of Yemen in the south and Aden. If you have like any questions, because I think I'm done with this.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mahmoud. It's given us a lot of things to think about. Since I am the moderator, I get to ask the first questions, and then we'll come to the audience questions. One thing that we talked about a little bit more in our conversation earlier that was really interesting was your understanding of how some of these illicit trades are working. what the role of the Houthis is, for instance, in tobacco and oil and things like that. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think,
And
yeah. And sorry, continue if you have.
no,
Yeah,
that's good. Then we'll do one at a time.
yeah. You mean it's about the financial resources?
Right, where they get their financial resources from, where the
Yeah.
Houthis get their financial resources from.
Actually, the idea is it's about knowing the financial resources. It's kind of to figure out a new approach. For example, for the US administration and UK government or the international community, how to deter the Houthis attacks. Houthis are rely or depend on four revenues. Houthis generate significant economic revenue through ports to their ports controlled under Red Sea. They impose official fees on fuel, like from 10 to 15 cents per liter of fuel entering the port of Hodeidah. That amount give them, and plus the free oil, it comes from Iraq and Iran. That gives them approximately about $1.5 billion a year. And this kind of revenues, it comes from fuel. Number two is the tobacco. Houthis are also importing tobacco, uh, uh, the raw materials of tobacco, and this is not smuggled. It comes formally from Hodeidah port, because Hodeidah port now port is functioning, and without even an inspection and investigation, because UNIVEM, the United Nations verification mechanism, it's not functioning anymore as it was before in the Red Sea. So Houthis are importing raw materials of tobacco, and they have factories of cigarettes. Then they sell it domestically and smuggle it to the government area and to the Saudi Arabia, and that gives the Houthis can generate from tobacco about $600 million a year. That goes to the Houthis' bucket. The third sector they are generating financial revenues is the telecommunication sector revenues. It's the tax of the private companies, of mobile companies, and also the internet revenues, because the backbone and the internet gateway still in Sana'a, and until now they haven't relocated the internet gateway and the backbone for the telecommunication from Sana'a to the Aden, to the internationally recognized government, so they can control it. And that need a lot of technical support and also a political support from the international community to the internationally recognized government to manage that. Number four is also drugs, but actually it's hard to calculate the drugs smuggling, because Houthi is also part of this smuggling of drugs. So these four revenues that Houthis depend on rely on their financial resources. And what is the new approach? The new approach what is the solution? The solution is to push the Houthis out of the coastal areas and their access to the Red Sea. And the US and the international community should address the root cause, not the outcomes or the effects. It's the solution is to push the Houthis out of the coastal areas on their access to the Red Sea. That should be done by supporting politically the internationally recognized government, not through a direct US and UK intervention and changing. It should be changing the balance on the ground, the political balance on the ground, that's going to cripple the Houthis economy, resources, and military ability.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sort of you've answered some of this, but just a little bit of a follow-up question concerning Iraq. So could you shed light on Iraq's decision to provide free oil to the Houthis? And are there underlying motivations, and what measures could be taken to address or prevent this solution,
Actually,
this situation?
yeah, it's hard to calculate what is the quantity and what is, but the idea, the information that is the Iraqi refinery the Houthis are getting more oil from the Iraqi refinery oil, and that's out of the government of Iraqi accounts, of oil accounts, that's under the table support, and has been smuggled, and also in a very with a middleman businessman who are doing a laundry and money laundry to change the labeling and the shipment labeling, and it's goes through more than one process how to clean the labels of this oil until it reaches the Houthis. Houthis now, and also in general, because it's business is business. They are always trying to figure out a way how to avoid this tracking from the international community or to deter smuggling. So that's why I'm saying that it should be a new approach, because, for example, designating the Houthis now, when I was remembering in that time, in 5 years ago, Houthis was affected by designating the Houthis, but now they have an immunity from designating. They are trying to figure out a new way how to avoid this this damage.
Okay. Another question from Dr. Chengiz. AQAP was responsible for several hundred attacks in 2016 and 17, but only a few dozen attacks in recent years that we've found. In your view, have they lost their operational capacity, or should we still consider them a significant threat in the region moving forward?
Actually, AQAP now we can consider them as a pocket of fighters hiding in the pocket on the southern areas in Yemen, and they are not strong as it was. They are not causing that much threat, but Houthis are trying to recover them and now adapting them. So the AQAP now, it's they are getting a support of financial and weapons support from Houthis. But in general, they are not, it's right, they are not posing a threat like it was before in the recently.
Thank you. We have lots of questions now, so I'm going to try and put a few together. Do you think that Abdul Malik al-Houthi could replace former resistance leaders, is one of the questions.
Actually, it's not because of Abdul Malik al-Houthi's personality. The idea is because the axis of resistance has lost more of their permanent leaders. Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, Hassan Nasrallah, they have received a significant suffered a significant attacks and strikes, and now they are putting their faith for Houthis. That he's the only card that they are having now, that Abdul Malik al-Houthi, he's the only one who actually gets survived from all this attacks against the axis of resistance. And I'm actually trying to monitor the media in Iraq and see that they are also putting Abdul Malik al-Houthi in their streets and media, that this is our hope, this is our new leader. The idea is the former Yemeni government, when they failed how to deter Houthis, and also the approach, the unsuccessful approach of the Arab coalition, how to deter Houthis, that makes Abdul Malik al-Houthi a hero, domestic hero. And now we have we should think about lesson learned. If the American and the US administration and the UK government are going to also failed on this mission, they will make Abdul Malik al-Houthi not a domestic hero. It will be a regional hero. And the cost is now is expensive to deter this terrorist group. In the future, it's going to be more expensive. So the idea, it should be, and unfortunately, there is also a lack of awareness from EU and the European country about, in general, in international community, because now they are focusing and they are focusing and they are busy of the Ukrainian war and with the Ukrainian Russian war, and they think that that the idea and the problem on the Red Sea could be postponed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now two more questions, and I really appreciate your patience in answering all our questions because we've got a lot of them. Two on the Houthis specifically is, one is, how centralized is the Houthi command structure? And why do they seem so eager to get involved in regional conflicts when they have such a clear local identity and goals?
Actually, Houthis now, they just discovered themselves after 7 of October. And when they start to engage when Red Sea attacks, that they become a key role, a very important key role, and that gives them, that makes them important on the axis of resistance, and and that gives them an ambitious to continue the attack, even if the war even if there is a ceasefire in Gaza. The Houthis will not stop attacking the Red Sea because they just discovered themselves. And Houthis now ambitions is not like before 7 of October. Now Houthis, because I'm following the peace, the roadmap for the peace process in Yemen. Houthis, they are not interested anymore to engage with peace talks. And they think it's a loss of time, and they think it's why we should talk with the Yemeni government. Abdul Malik al-Houthi now he's believed that himself is a regional leader. He's not a domestic leader just to talk with the Yemeni government. So that give him some ambitions to play and to be a key role in the future.
Thank you. And on the question of the centralization of the command structure, how centralized is it? Do you have a sense of that?
Yeah. In general, all these groups are centralized leadership. It's not like Abdul Malik al-Houthi. He control all the decision. And it comes from all the making decision comes from Abdul Malik al-Houthi, and there is other key leaders are working with Abdul Malik al-Houthi, but Abdul Malik al-Houthi is the decision maker. Abdul Malik al-Houthi is the symbol and the iconic symbol of the Houthis group, and it's similar, like, for example, Hezbollah. Hezbollah now need about 5 or more than 6 years just to recover, because after the Hassan Nasrallah get killed, because those kind of militias, especially the Shia sectarian file, they are so centralized. They always rely on the name of a person, on one leader, supreme leader, like Khamenei and Abdul Malik al-Houthi, and also Hassan Nasrallah, and losing one of them, it caused a lot of damage for them.
Thank you. I'm just going to ask 2 more questions now and then let you go. One of them is, can you talk more about the ports and the security of shipping in the region and sort of what can be done there?
Yeah,
what are the key ports that the Houthis are controlling? And
Houthis are controlling Hodeidah, which is their window, Hodeidah Governorate, which is their main window to the Red Sea, and it has Hodeidah port and Ras Isa port. These 2 ports are controlled by Houthis, and it's functioning and without any inspection. And as I told you, as I mentioned before, that there is no inspection and verification what the Houthis is import. So if you can imagine that Aden port, which is the government of Yemen port, it has a lot of instruction and regulation, but Hodeidah port is functioning more than Aden, because Houthis are forcing the Yemeni businessman that if anyone is going to import to Aden port, which is the Yemeni government port, they are not allowed to do business on their area, and they will do some sanctions against them. Otherwise, if do this kind of sanction could be jeopardizing their businesses on the Houthis in the control area. So the idea of ports is Iranian ports is Bandar Abbas, which is the main port of smuggling, to Hodeidah port. Bandar Abbas in Iran and Hodeidah port in Red Sea. This is the 2 main ports of smuggling, and also the areas that it comes from the weapons and technology and receive the weapons and technology. And Somalians, the Shabab al-Mu'min Somalians are in the middle, who do a delivery, because Houthis, they don't have that much experience on the sea. They are fighting. They are good fighters in the mountains, but they don't have experience on the coastal and having boats and smuggling on the sea.
And one final question for our analysts. What sources of information can we always, in order to register an incident, we need a reliable media source. And obviously it's hard to find a lot of reliable media in that part of the world. So what kind of sources do you rely on? It could be social media. How do you get your information, and how do you suggest that we get our information?
Yeah, this information, it comes mostly from the media, and also from reports from international and local organization reports. It's always monitoring the incidents, and also if you follow the recent report of panel of experts, I know it's a huge report, but it's very important to read it about, because they did records about more the incidents in Yemen, part of politically, financially, military smuggling, and also human rights violation. And this it could be like a resource for most of the incidents and violation that happens in Yemen.
Okay, well, I should wrap this up now, but thank you so much. It's been really interesting and informative, and we wish you well in all your work to to help Yemen. Thank you.
Thank you.